Shri Arunachala Ramanaya.
Shubhyadischa chikitsyataam pratidinam vikshaushadam bhujyatam swadvannam natu yachyatam vidivashat praptena santushyatam shitoshnadi vishahyatam nadu vrutha Vakyam samucharyatam audasinyamabhipsyatam janakripa nashtorya mutsrajyatam. This slokam is from Sadhana Panchkam, what Shankaracharya gave out as his last instruction to his students. I'm talking about Adi Shankaracharya. He says, don't hanker after delicious food. Be contented with whatever comes of its own. Treat the disease of hunger with little bit of food of medicine of food. Forbear the polarities of heat and cold, and stop uttering useless words. Then do not expect kindness from others, but abandon all harshness towards all others. I thought I should tell this because yesterday something came from our Sanjay ji, where he was telling some 20 qualities, or somebody else wrote for him, I don't know, which comes in Gita, but to this particular thing, give up hunger for good food, or taste for good food. That's one of the things we should all go. Otherwise, that drags you here and there, and it further puts you in further more and more difficulties. Okay.
I'll tell you a small thing about this. First, about Bhagavan, about food. You know, whatever food was given to Bhagavan, he will mix up all like a khichdi mixture and just eat it. So some of the devotees really got offended because they thought that they made something so nice, it's sweet, it's sour, whatever the taste is. So Bhagavan will taste and tell how good it is, you know. That is only ego in them is working like that because they want some praise, appreciation from Bhagavan, from a higher authority. There's love for Bhagavan, but they also want some praise. And Bhagavan just used to demolish their ego by mixing everything together and just having it. He never cared about the taste because he was tasting that his own taste in which all the sense organs doesn't carry any meaning. Now, I'm not sure how true this is, but one thing I read long time back about Ramakrishna Paramhans, who was the teacher, guru of Swami Vivekananda. And he used to always ask his wife, what is she cooking? Whenever he used to go to kitchen, what are you cooking? And he used to take interest in what the meal is. And then he will say a couple of words to her that, yeah, this is what I like or something. And once she remarked that it doesn't look nice to a jnani, to a enlightened soul like you, who is talking about food. So, you know, this is known to all these people seekers that the food and what type of food and, you know, how good or bad it is should not be a concern of a jnani. And Ramakrishna said to his wife that probably this is the only thing slightly clinging me to this word, that what you cook. And the day when he was passing, that day he didn't ask his wife, what is she cooking? And I think she remarked it later about this thing, which I read. Anyway, so as we talk about, and look, in most of the discussions also, if you talk to friends and people, everyone is talking about food. And what is the most frequently visited place for most of the people, to go out for a dinner? Maybe it gives relief to the person who cooks at home, and that's justifiable. But then a lot of talk goes into, food and where to eat and all these things, which I think takes up a lot of time. And if you also look into the talk, what is done sometimes, nonsense talks, that revolves a lot around food also. Nowadays, I'll tell you, a lot of people start talking about supplements and this to eat, or this type of food, or this type of milk. Actually, I'll tell you honestly, when I came to Australia, in those initial days, I was shocked that there are so many types of milk. I only knew one milk. But when I came here, there is so many types of milk. A2 milk and skim milk and high fat, low fat. I don't know. So many types of milk are there. Like it's such a big issue just choosing the right milk. And none of the milks are good. That's the other problem. They all cause allergies and problems. None of them are so good because there's no natural thing in it. The cow is not natural. Then the feed is not natural. Then the cows get all these injections and steroids, and they get mastitis and whatnot. So it's better not to drink than just be a vegan. And then the cruelty which is involved in extracting that milk, when you kill those young calves and sell their meat, do you think the cow is happy or she doesn't know? And that's why her all negative emotions come into that milk, which we drink, and we get all that health issues. And then we say it is milk allergy. It is our allergy. We have created allergy to cow because of our misdeeds with cow's family. Killing his calf, which they call Bobby, and they sell that meat which is costly, and some people say it's tasty, veal. This is all cruelty what we are dealing, the way our greed for that is can create so many issues. Actually, the other day someone was gave me an English translation of it, very Tamil literature, Tirukular, I think, Tirukular, written by Valalar or someone. And it is a beautiful compilation. So,
you mean Tirukural or Tiruvaruppa?
Yeah, Tirukular, I think.
Tirukural. Yeah, Tirukural is very nice, unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah. And, and this is so interesting, I'll tell you, when I'm talking about Tirukular, written by a poet, a saint, Valalar, I think, something like that. His name is Valalar.
That is Tiruvaruppa. Huh? Tiruvaruppa is written by a Valalar.
It is Tirukural.
Tirukular, yes, Tirukular.
Tirukural.
Yeah, my Tamil is bad.
Not written by Valalar. Tiruvaruppa is written by Valalar. Tirukural is written by somebody else.
I think Valalar, Tirukular.
Valalar has not written Tirukural. Valalar has written Tiruvaruppa.
Yeah, so this one is Tirukular. It is poetic, very poetic. So I found an edition which was done in 1890 something by an Englishman. His name starts from G. But anyway, the interesting fact is that the main translation, which the first when I opened, which came to me was that I can't believe that I can eat someone having the same flesh as me. He's like, this is like with exclamation. That's what he has written, that I can't believe that someone can eat the same flesh as me for food. And it has a lot of things. And I think the initial Christian missionaries which came to India, they also translated, they adopted according to their own thing. And There is a Tamil scholar from Chennai who passed away only, I think, couple of months back. He was living in Chennai. He was archaeologist and historian, Tamil historian, very, very literate. He actually commented on this, that a lot of these things were taken from the Sanskrit Vedic text in this book. And and he has actually compared the notes. He was a good historian, but then the political parties like DMK, they just blasted that he's anti-Tamil and he does not respect Tamil literature and all. And he said, look, I'm a historian and I know where the things have been compiled, because it's a beautiful compilation in Tamil about things. So it doesn't lose originality. Like whatever we talk, whatever we discuss as spirituality, it is borrowed from a guru, from teacher, from everywhere. So it doesn't make it less important. And it comes in that very clearly, that passage which I read, that I'm really surprised that how I can eat the same flesh what I am made up of. And these are a lot of things. If you see even Bhagavan about food, he was very particular about his message to people, though he didn't follow it because there was no need for him to follow. But he said very clear. Yeah, I think I can see Saku has written very clearly that it is Thirukular. Yes, Thirukular.
Thirukural written by Thiruvalluvar.
Yeah, Thiruvalluvar. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. Correct. Anyway, so I'm very bad with names, but that's what this all about food. Bhagavan always said that Sattvic food is good for us. And I'll add one more thing. Lot of sects, spiritual sects, actually they don't eat the food which is cooked by anyone they don't know. So the person who is cooking, where the means by which that food is being procured, what is the intention behind food, and how much you are eating, and what are the ingredients, that all counts. Actually, everything counts when you're on this spiritual path, because food makes your mind, how you think. Sometimes negative thoughts or unknown thoughts can come depending on who was cooking and what he was thinking about at that time. Recently, when we did the retreat, I was talking to these people who were cooking food for us, and they do all the time God's remembrance while they're cooking. And that makes the food so, tasty also. So, but the best food is taking the name of God all the time, which then you don't need to follow anything about food and all those things. If you are in remembering that makes whatever you eat palatable. And so initially these small things for a seeker are very important. So those points, I have to say, they are all borrowed from, as Neelakantan ji picked out nicely, from Bhagavad Gita only, because it has all these points, and I thought it's nice to just re-emphasize these points together. And if you see all those points, the qualities in a spiritual seeker, these are the qualities in Jnani also. So the seeker turns into Jnani. There's no that there are two different things. When the blossoming is full, you call Jnani. Before that, he's a seeker. There's not much difference. So all those qualities which imbibe in Jnani are actually developing in a seeker. All of those, without any exception. And so if you cultivate, then you are, in a way, it is like a milestone. You know that signpost. You know that you are moving in the right direction. And all these points. Like I remember someone asked Bhagavan about, a devotee asked Bhagavan, that Bhagavan, at the end of my life, towards when I'm just going to die, what should I do? What should I do when I'm going to die? Because death can come anytime. And Bhagavan said, you don't have to do anything, because you are no more there. If you are a real devotee, you are already dead long time back. So there is no death to you. So you don't have to remember or not remember anything. What would you remember when you are not there? And Bhagavan said that for any devotee there is no death, because you are already dead. I have already killed you. I have killed your ego. So if Bhagavan was so clear about his devotees, now his power is 1,000 times more. So if you are a devotee, if you consider yourself as Bhagavan's devotee, then you don't have to worry about death or what's going to happen at the end. It was so beautiful when I read it. I thought Bhagavan's reassurance to everyone that what is left to die, it is only your mind. If the mind is still operating with desires and thoughts, then definitely at the time of death, you will be thinking about all your attachments and what possessions which you will be losing. But if you are already living with a dead mind, then what else you will lose? Nothing. Actually, it will be that loss is a gain, because still you are bounded by a body in some way or the other. So it is so nice to know that Bhagavan's advice to us is that finish your ego before you leave this body, and then nothing needs to be done at the end, or because that will be your end the moment your ego dissolves. And to dissolve ego also, people call it self-inquiry method. But if you look within this self-inquiry might be the first time when you start, when you ask this question, who am I? But it does not stay like self-inquiry. It stays as self-attention only. You're attentive to that impartial awareness which is watching the show going on. And that is not lasting long. When you are so much intensely into that awareness mode, then there's nothing else. That's all. Then you are just in that awareness mode. Then to slip back into that body-mind complex is almost next to impossible. You can't get there. It is a one-way path. You let's say when a flower is blossoming, it becomes big. Can you make it again a bud? You can't make it a bud. It is opened. It is opening. So someone who thinks that they might slip back into samsara again, or they might think they might get into trap of ego, if they are having doubts, that means they are still not blossoming enough to make it irreversible. If there are doubts, if there are strong doubts, that itself shows that more energy has to be put into your heart, attention to that. So no doubt. What is doubt? Doubt is a thought coming from your mind. And if you believe in a doubt, that means you're still slave of your mind. Otherwise, if a doubt comes as a thought and you are aware of it, how can you be influenced? Like we listen to a lot of fake news. Do you get influenced by those fake news? Yes and no. Some people get influenced, some not. Like with this COVID times also, so many people have agree with conspiracy theories. Some have got for, some against, some for vaccine, some anti-vaccine. So people get influenced by things, and some people don't get influenced. Now when it comes to a spiritual seeker and to stay as awareness, thoughts becomes very strong. And thoughts comes as mind attack, and they try to take you there back, because their energy is coming from your interest in it in the past. And they want you to believe on it. If you believe, that means you are still not practicing enough to stay in this impartial awareness, into this nothingness, where nothing is at stake, where things comes and goes. You live like a ghost, not existing for anything. or you can call it with total acceptance, like whatever is happening. So in this nothingness is all happiness. Because if you are hoarding, if you are a holder, even one thing, one object, one person, one desire, that will be enough to bond you. That bondage will come with even one single thing. Like, they talk about in movies and all, what is the weak point of this person? Like to blackmail someone or to bring him down. So for a jnani, there can never be a weak point, because you want to defame what? Which is already gone. Because we can only defame a person. We can't defame awareness. And if there is no personhood in you, then who can defame you? And if there is no personhood in you, who can kill you? So you have to be convinced about your own seeing, that you are this nameless, formless awareness. Then body stays or body goes, who cares? Or the body gets credit or body gets discredit, who cares? Because all relations, all suffering, all pleasures belongs to this body, not to us. We are always in our peace, in our happiness. And that is changeless. So changeless means that it's not going to get less in times of adversaries or in times of what people call as personal issues or tragedies. Because it has... So the only attachment we have to break is with our body, and rest of these, all connections are from the body, which automatically goes away. Everything goes away. We don't have to disconnect our desires one by one. You disconnect with this ownership of this body and everything disappears. Just one root gone and you are free. You have to open only one knot. That's all. Which is binding this pure awareness to this mind body at the heart level. So ignorance is also at heart, and freedom is also at heart. If you focus there, from where this I amness has arisen, I amness has come and has taken this thinking, I am this. Just come back to that. Come back, take the back step. Come here, stay here, stay here, stay here, stay here. When you stay here, the energy will keep going within your heart to open the door of that pure awareness, that knowledge. Coming back to home, coming back to source. And the moment this I amness dissolves, this ego dissolves, this attachment, this ownership of the body dissolves, then everything dissolves at the same time. It's not like you have to get rid of things one by one. Even in this process of dissolution, you start getting the fragrance of that pure self emanating from within. And the most beautiful thing about this awareness is that it still stays the same. It becomes so deep that you dream, but you are in awareness. You sleep, you are in awareness. You wake up, you are in awareness. You're talking to people, you are in awareness. People are criticizing you, things are not happening the way the body has to do it, and it's a disaster, you are in awareness. Things are happening the way it has to, and everything is getting best around you, you are in awareness. Awareness doesn't change. Everything can change. Circumstances around us can change, the body can change, And there are changes which comes when you are in awareness because of that. But still, you know it is just pure awareness. And the thing is that whom would you give credit if things are happening right, or discredit? Don't think any jnani intentionally is doing good to others. The good happens because he is in awareness. Because that the one which has intentions to do good or bad has already disappeared. Now he also sees as others see. And others give credit or whatever, discredit also sometimes, but he has no clue. He is also as mesmerized by his own power of whatever by which people feel grace. As others are mesmerized, he is also mesmerized. Actually, others know more about him rather than him. He is oblivion to all facts. He is not creating anything. Things are happening. And they are very true. I'll tell you about Bhagavan also, and about a lot of jnanis. People say they are hiding their siddhi. They are not showing and they are not hiding. They give zero importance to these things. So for others, it is hiding, because if we get something, we want to show it to the world that I've got this, I can produce this thing from my hand, or any magic. Because we want to produce, we think he's hiding. He's not hiding, he's not showing, he's not doing anything. He does not even claim that it is coming to him. That is the beauty. So if it stays, the siddhi stays or siddhi goes, or things happens in that goodness or doesn't happen, he has no clue. That is why the same thing doesn't kept repeating. Let's say a leprosy patient comes and Bhagavan touches or gives Ashirvad and all the leprosy goes away. You don't start thinking that he's a leprosy eradication doctor. Now, if 1,000 comes, it will happen. It is that grace, it happened to one, maybe it might not happen to the next one. So all these which people call as miracles also can happen, but for him also it is the same as for you, because he has no intention to do or not to do. But in that energy field, things can happen on their own. So stay in that energy field, and it is like a high voltage. It is so powerful that nobody has to tell you, when you touch this high power voltage, that now you are in awareness or you are still body mind. A lot of people have these doubts that how would we know whether we have to give an MCQ exam, or there's a test, or some neuroimaging, or a guru has to tell. No one has to tell. It is nothing. It is coming back home which gives you that peace by which you know. And you only have to know. No one else has to know. We don't have to put it in a newspaper or in a book. You can do that, because then you might be able to help others. I don't know if that is what your intention is left in that sense. But this is something, your own freedom. In this celebration, you celebrate not alone. Even if you keep quiet, the whole cosmos celebrates with you. All Devi Devta know, whole Brahman knows. Kabir says beautifully that when this unheard sound, when this blast happens inside, which is silent blast, the sound is so big that the whole Brahman knows, whole cosmos knows. Whether you know it or not, I don't know, but the whole cosmos knows when this happens, when this thing changes. Because it is a blessing to not to you, to everything. You bless everything. Everything you bless. Don't think it is humble, it is simple, it is small in a sense, but it is huge in another aspect. In this word which you see, it is a huge. That's why they say, in a way, more like a gesture, that all the gods and goddesses start showering. Give shower too if you get it. because everyone feels it. You can't hide it. Maybe here we think about media or newspaper or those, if there everyone knows, then there's a different news media. It's a different word altogether. When it knows, it knows. So rejoice with everything. You connect with everything. It is so beautiful. And it requires nothing from you. No doing. Actually, the doer has to die, who is always organizing next movement, selfish movement, smart movements, trying to earn praise from outside, unpraise from within, and job is done. No need to take any praise from outside. Take praise from inside. Make that inside your friend. Give all energy to that. Because look, when you start on this journey, you are starting with ego, isn't it? And ego has an intention, and ego has attention, and you use that only to dissolve. It is an inward journey, is a journey of ego side. As you keep coming closer to that sun, that glory within you, that fake image start disappearing, start melting in that energy. More you stay there, more this ego dissolves and that energy comes out. It is like the one image is turning into the other image as you turn within. So that extrovert, that person, that doer, when looks within, then he realizes his head bows down in shame that what I was doing, there was nothing, there's no doer. If the doer is there, then the doer is for everything, is the same doer. Though he might not proclaim, but that is what the doer is. The doer in me and doer in everyone is the same doer, which is taking care of everything. And so moment you know within, you get connected with everything. Because everything has the same energy. And then when you talk, you don't meet as ego, you meet from heart. Even if the other person has ego, doesn't matter. You don't recognize that ego. When you don't have ego, you don't recognize other as ego. You recognize other also as the same jyoti, same light as you are. You start working, behaving, acting from that level. Maybe your language might still be the same. Maybe you use swear words, or you have a dialect, or you have a habit. Those are all external to the jnani. It doesn't affect the jnani. Maybe some habits looks odd, but still there is no difference. And he does not take a deliberate attempt to change any habit also, because it is not an obstacle to him. Maybe it looks odd to others, because other people will ego have their own image of a jnani, and everyone has a different image. That is the reason why if you see compassion of God, Shiva also, he came in different ways, different shapes to different people as they thought that the jnani or the person, the teacher should be. And he came in different ways to different people. If you read those stories. So keep paying attention to that Shiva within, that Shiva, none other than you. Purest of pure, which is not involved in anything. You are never ever involved. You are just dreaming that you are involved. Exactly like when you dream, you think you are involved. The dream breaks and you know that you were just lying in your bed. You were not at all involved. When this dream breaks, you know that all the story which you thought was your story was nothing. It was just a dream. We give ownership because of ego, that's all. If you don't have any ownership of this body, mind, you're always in bliss. So keep paying attention and stay as awareness. It is not at all difficult. It is just the right understanding, right effort, right intention, and you will find it within you. If you go for a map, a GPS map, where to look for it, I will say the only thing is look within and you will get it. I'll tell you a beautiful example in a way happened yesterday. There was a electrician came to our house to fix up some lights in the garden lights and all, changing them to higher voltage, and some were not going that well. And I was inside, he didn't ask me, and then after a couple of hours I went, and he couldn't finish half of his job, and he said, all your plugs switches outside are faulty, I have to change this whole box. And I said, they were working till last week, I'm not sure what happened. And I checked and they were all working, and then he checked and he was very confused. He said, but I was checking, I opened everything and it was not working. And I told him that actually the switches were inside the house, because you can't come outside to switch on. So the previous electrician has put the switchboard inside and these power plugs are outside, but the switch is inside. And he said, I spent 2 hours in fixing it. He said, I didn't know. I said, but you didn't ask. So what is this? This came such a flash of light to me that we are all looking switches outside, not within. And then nobody tells us to look within. And then the moment someone tells you within, and you understand everything. And he understood everything is the switch is within, inside the house, it's not outside. So there's no fault outside. He was finding the fault outside. He was trying to fix outside. That's what we all do. We try to fix our life outside. Having a good relationship with people, having some more money, paying our mortgage, having a better house, better car, better relationships, better body. Body is outside. Body is not within us. Fixing our mind, doing a drama of a meditation of 10 minutes in morning, 10 minutes in evening, going for a yoga class 20 minutes. Sometimes I'm amazed how much efforts people put. Sometimes I speak and they tell me, and they're so proud, Doc, look, I go for swimming, I do this thing, I do that thing, I go for jogging, I do Tai Chi, I do Qigong, then I do yoga, and the net result is zero. There is still suffering, there is so much of greed, so much of ego, because they are all fixing outside, turning their switches on and off outside, looking to fix. Go within. Once you find this powerhouse within, you don't have to fix anything outside. You see, everyone is running, they are fixing their body, all sorts of proteinaceous diets and gym and this and that and looking good and going for brands and whatnot. But still there is all garbage inside. Everyone is decorating garbage with a lot of good stuff outside, good packaging. Just go within and you can fix everything. You can be a beggar and you can fix. Or you can be a king and you can fix. But if you continue working outside, you can never fix. Whatever your profession or no profession, body has a disease or no disease, doesn't matter. Nothing matters. These are all external to us. Even mind is external to us. Mind is subtle matter. Don't compare yourself with mind. You are much vaster and infinite. You are the light. You are the source of mind. We make ourselves so small when mind defeats us. When mind defeats us, we have made up ourselves so small that this tiny mind can defeat us. This is the irony. But the moment you go within, you go to the source. Then you realize that I was just getting afraid of the dream. that too produced from the mind, that mind whom I am the source. Like you have created an image, you made a painting and you put it in the house, and that night you woke up to go to toilet and you saw and you got scared, seeing a monster created by you. Have you seen Bhagavan? He used to go at the middle of the night to tell the tiger in Tamil to go away because he is scaring others. I don't know how tiger understood Tamil, but he used to go away. With a man full of rheumatism who can't even run if he comes, even if he puts a... But everything obeyed him. Everything obeyed him. Even the squirrels, used to feed cashew to them. One of them actually one day bite him to get attention from him. And he didn't give the cashew to that squirrel. And she tried to play with Bhagavan. She went from the other side. And from the other side. And the Bhagavan said, I know that you are the same who bite me. I'm not giving you today. And then later when he gave it to everyone, then he gave it to that. He said, sometimes you have to teach a lesson and they understand. This is this beautiful awareness which even animals understand when you are in it. Because they are not scared. They are scared when we are living in ego. But when you are in awareness, you are the same awareness in those animals. Not just animals. You call them inanimate, but everything is animate in their own way. Even a stone. It has that consciousness. Once you find your own self, you have sorted out the biggest puzzle of your life. And maybe perhaps for another thousands of people or millions, who knows? Whoever is looking for you, looking for that, if comes to you, there would be some help through you. Even if you don't speak, even if you sit next to someone, you will give some help. Something will happen through you. It is, if you have touched that high voltage, it's not just going to sort out you, it will sort out so many things. Though you have no intention to do anything, even then. Do you think Bhagavan had a plan that he will go and live in a cave and then the whole world will come to him? He had no plans. He could have gone to another place in hiding, but people would have reached there, This is the power of awareness. And we are all that power. Before we lose this body, we all should find that power within. Open up this box. You are holding a very, very precious jewel. It's invaluable. I think someone wrote in the group that these are free satsangs with free pointers. That is the thing. You free because there is no, you can't put it in money. I'll tell you.
Priceless.
It is priceless. Sometimes I feel that we sell everything. We sell even meditation, we sell. Yoga, we sell. There are retreats, there are things, and you can put a price to everything. And I can understand, because if you're using a space, or let's say it's the livelihood of a yoga teacher, then how can he feed his family if he doesn't charge anything? But this thing is something, more you give, more you get. It is like more you share love, more you feel love. It is so beautiful. It is like once you know this God principle, you become like a speaker of propaganda of that somehow, because you can't keep it to yourself. You can keep it, but the joy is so much that you want to share, at least with the people who are into it or who wants it or who are interested in it. Like God, who is dwelling in all of us, when he opens the door to you and you merge in him, then that body becomes a vehicle for transmission of that knowledge or that love or that peace or that messenger or whatever you can call it. Because there's nothing else as compared to that. It is something that body has never experienced anything like this before and will never experience again. It's like coming back home. Let's say a small kid goes on a tour, comes back home after 3 weeks, and he sees his parents and he hugs, and coming back home, you can think about a little kid, who was away from parents and was homesick. Our homesickness is very, very long. We left this home long time back. Now when you come back, you rejoice. And you want everyone to come back there because it is so beautiful. There is no sukha, there is no happiness like this. You can't even compare with anything. The only thing I can compare is that if you were looking for something, a degree or a lottery ticket, and suddenly you get it, and how you feel. That excitement might not stay that long, but then the joy stays. That contentment of you wanted something to be done, you were looking for it, and then, because I'll tell you, we go into this self all the time. Whenever we have a very strong, intense desire, and as soon as it gets filled, fructify, you feel, yes. That contentment is always there. That santosha. That is what it is. After which you are not looking for anything. Don't think that the jnani is desireless. Desires are because we are always feeling incomplete. When you are feeling complete, then what would you desire after that? Our desires, our achievements actually only shows that we lack something. So we are looking for more degrees or more praise from others. But once you are complete in your own self, you know what the truth is. Then things might still happen, but you are not desiring for anything. Things might happen if they have to happen. But for you, there is nothing else to be done in this life. And next will not be there. Because there is nothing left to be done. And people talk about this prarabdha karma, that the karmas or the things were happening. They might happen or might not happen. But for you, it is a clean slate. Body might go through whatever, who cares, when you are not the body. The karmas bind you till you have ownership of body. The moment the ownership goes, how many karmas are left and what is going to happen with body, who cares? When you have left, you have left. What happens? Nobody cares.
Bhagavan puts it very nicely. If a person has 3 wives, if he dies, all the 3 of them becomes widows. You cannot have one person not having a widow, becoming a widow. So he puts it very nicely.
Yeah, quite right. Because they were talking about, I think, about the 3 types of karmas. So the prarabdha karma, by which our life is going on now, and then sanchit karma, which are the ones which are still were there to be used in other lives. And the third one is what you are doing right now, which agami, which will go for the future, like you are inculcating by your desires. But the moment you leave the ownership of the body, though there might be these karmas and these balance accounts, but if you have given up your account name from that account, you are disowning the account, then who cares who gets the money or good or bad? And that is the reason why some people say that then what happens to those karmas of a jnani? It might still be good and bad, must have. So the body might be going through it, but what exactly happens by whatever is still in balance? They say the people who praise that jnani get all the good, and the people who discredit, they get all the bad karma. So they are sorted about the people around him, and still he doesn't get it. I don't know right or wrong, but this is being also said. But rather than getting into any concepts, the best thing is to know yourself. And it is the easiest, it is the simplest, it is always with you. If you forget to remember yourself, you can remember now. You were busy in washing dishes, now you can do it. Now if you can't remember, then remember before going to bed that who you are. Because this self is there all the time. If somebody says that he has no time to know the self, what can you say? Whatever our age, I can understand. Till nobody told you, ignorance is bliss. But now you know. What is stopping you now? Your spouse is stopping, or your job is stopping, or the next movie in theater is stopping. What is stopping? To know yourself, you just have to be there, focus there, attention there. Your intention should be there, your interest should be there. You're longing for it to be there. People who believe in God, who believe in form, they can also think like that. Whatever way you can remember, that is the best way for you. Your intention is important, nothing else. It is like you stay on the door of this divine, and your attention is always there, and you get frustrated that you are not getting any experience or opening, and you get impatient. Stay there. Because who knows, you are just at that boiling point where the things are just opening, it's working out. Like if you keep taking out the seed out of earth to check whether when the bud is going to come, it is just impatience. It will delay your own seeing. Once you have understood, once you know what is at stake, then just stay there. Stay there and inculcate all those qualities. Look how many qualities you can find in yourself. Maybe that would be difficult because then ego will take claim of all those qualities. That can be dangerous also. But still there can be some testing in some way. You can check by looking into these things whether there is still some work needs to be done. And then you will get your answer, your own self. That so many attachments, so many desires, so much of hate, so much of anger, so much of greed is still there. How can I can know the self? These are the obstacles. Don't think it has never ever happened that a bad person can know the self. A bad person can turn into a good person and then know the self. That can happen. That always happens. Actually, it happens more quickly in people who feel that they are not worth. At least then they can surrender to that absolute. People who think they are very good, they are pure, and they are this and that, it's hard for them to achieve because they have their ego is boosted by their good deeds, it can be more difficult. Like Valmiki, he was a robber who wrote Valmiki Ramayana. He used to rob people, he used to kill people, and then became saint. So just try to surrender this ego. Follow more humbleness, more humility. The best way to make this ego disappear is when you start feeling that you are nothing, when you don't exist, that there is no need for your advice to anyone, when your advice is not even of 2 cents value, when you stay like so impartial, so neutral about everything, when all the insult to the body, you are completely indifferent. Again, I'm very bad with names, but there was a Marathi enlightened soul who was a poor man. He was from Bhakti Marg, and his wife used to beat him with a stick because he never used to bring anything home. He is going to sell something and he will get something, let's say sugarcane candies, and then by the time he will come, only one is left. So he used to say, what can I do? I can't leave God's name. The mind doesn't go anywhere else. I can't sell anything. I've sold myself to God. So stay in that. Stay in that. Things will still continue, your responsibilities and things, and I believe that more you stay in that godliness, things will happen on their own for you. A lot of things which you think you as a doer is doing is actually spoiling it rather than doing it properly. Give it to him, he will sort out. You just believe in him, you take his name, let him do things for you. This is surrender. This is also surrender. But this is not surrender, this is bhakti. When you are a bhakta, when you are a devotee, you only love his name, nothing else. So it's not that then you ask him to do your work. You don't care about anything. What will happen? Tell me. Most of the time it's about money, losing some money, but losing some money and getting some peace, I think still it's a good transaction. If thinking about all the time about money, you will get mad. I really feel pity on people who put money on shares. My God, their life is spoiled. Every day they're checking whether it's going up and down. Their heartbeat goes up, heartbeat goes down, How bad it is, like it's a curse. In Hindi there is a proverb, 99 ka fair, which means this illusion of 99. I don't remember that story, but the story goes like someone was given 100 guineas, the gold coins, and then he was told that if he takes one and buys this thing, that will make it 10, like a business transaction. So all the time, this man who was simple man, once he got that, he lost all his peace of mind, all the time into how can he multiply his money. So the amount of money can bring happiness is the amount of money which can pay your bills. Above it, it becomes nuisance. Where to invest, what to do, how to protect. Then it becomes more of a nuisance rather than help to you. Anyway, if your mind goes into that supreme awareness within, things happens or doesn't happen doesn't matter. Only thing matters is remembering it all the time. And you don't remember, it remembers itself. First you have to do and then it does. It remembers you. You don't remember it. It remembers you. This is the love, the divine love. It is one, but it looks two. Because the body actually start taking the name of that self which is rejoices. Can you believe that the ego causes suffering to the body, suffering to the mind, suffering to the people, suffering to the society, suffering to the whole world? The moment you open that jewel within, it blesses your body, blesses your mind, blesses your friends, family, society, the whole world, blesses beings, animate, inanimate objects. How big we can make. This is the real transformation. This is the real magic. And we are always looking for magic around us. This is the real magic which we all can do within us. Give all your attention to yourself rather than to the other people and things. Give importance to yourself, only to this jewel within us. And see the magic. There is a magic within all of us. Keep paying attention within. I'll tell you, nothing in this world will help you to get there. It is like you are switching on and off plugs outside when the power is within. You have to switch on the inside button. Once you switch on, there will be light and just light. So much so that this body is insufficient vehicle to carry that light. And that light spreads in all directions in infinity. It is within, it is without, there is no location. It has no direction. Though it uses body to interact, but it knows that it will survive when the body drops, because it is always the same. And for it, the body is external to it as any other body. So abide in this pure awareness. Be a devotee of pure awareness. And when your attention is here, it knows. You can't fake it. We can fake and we can dupe whole world, but not this. Only honesty, humbleness can take you there. You can tell the whole world, I have no attachments, no desires, I am ready to go. But this knows it. Because the only criteria to enter this is when you only want this. Because when you only want this, then only this is left. Rest of the wants take your mind externally into things. That's why you can't see yourself. When you have no desires left, then the only thing left is you. It is as simple as that. People talk about surrender. What do you mean by surrender? What are you surrendering? All this filthy stuff? And you feel proud that I'm surrendering? What is surrender? Nothing. Even let's say you have some value in external objects. How long that value will last? Till this body lasts. Even if you are a businessman, it is not a big deal. Nothing is a big deal. Leaving these transient objects, which definitely will go away from you, even this body. So while the brain is functioning, you are attentive, the body has energy to know it, do it and finish it and be free from this body mind. And just stay as what you are. And enjoy rest of the time in this body mind. Before that, it is suffering. Only after knowing what you are is enjoyment. Know this truth. It is so simple. Leave aside all the concepts of everything and all the religious rituals and all. Don't worry. If it is there, it is there. Never get into argument with any religious person or leader or different religions or whatever. They're all traps, big traps. You are that pure religion, pure spirituality. You have to decipher this code. You have to decode yourself. Put all your energy here. And see the magic. I'll tell you a very small story and then I'll end. We went to Tiruvannamalai, I don't remember, maybe a few years back. And one of my friend was there, Dharmender, and Ruchi was there. And we went to an enlightened person's house. Lakshman, someone. And Lakshman Sharma, and he was in his mid-90s or something. And so outside his house is a big gate. And there was this lady sitting outside the gate. And she was just looking inside. And I've never met her before. First time I saw her. And I went and she said, I'm waiting for that Lakshman Sharma to pass so I can have his darshan. And I said, since when? She said, I come every day. I'm coming from last 3 months. I said, what a dedication, Mirabai. She said, Mirabai? How do you know I'm Mirabai? I said, only Mirabai can do this. She said, my name is Mirabai only. So we can have so much of dedication for these things. Why can't we be dedicated to the real God within us? Maybe the external can be real or unreal, who knows? And he might come from that gate, or maybe he had a gate behind the house and never comes from that gate, who knows? But we know he is there. So why don't we stay on this gate, this door, all the time? And no one can remove you from there. Because I asked that lady Mirabai that, what about, do these gatekeepers remove? She said, yes, they remove a lot of people, but not me, because I'm so staunch. I don't want to move from here. Here there is no gatekeeper. You can stay here as long as you want. Your staying will make this door open. This is so true, so real. And it is you, none other than you. No one can stop you. You don't have to go and live in a cave to be there. Live in the comfort of your house and be there. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you all.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Sanku.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you. Take care everyone. Love you all.
Thank you.